Whiskey Jason here, whiskey from the viewpoint of an American over here in Germany, often tasting rare and exotic whiskeys. Not really sure how rare and exotic this one is. Kentucky Owl, the Wiseman, straight bourbon whiskey. 45.4% ABV, whiskey base 198096. Now, this actually came out onto the market in the US in September 2021. It made it over to Germany around May, June 2022. So in the States, about $60. Over here in Germany, about 55 to 60 euros. So actually, this whiskey is cheaper in Germany at the moment than it is in America. Well, we're going to see this a few times in this moment. I'm sorry. So this used to be part of the Stoli group. I think they renamed it because there was some type of Russian affiliation there. The name, but not the company. This is actually juice from the Bardstown Bourbon Company. So, as well as two undisclosed distilleries in Kentucky. So, what do we have here? We actually have a blend here of the 4-year-old wheat bourbon from Bardstown Bourbon Company and a high-rye bourbon from the Bardstown Bourbon Company, as well as a 5.5 and an 8-year-old Kentucky source bourbons. Now, we can go back in the history of Kentucky Owl. So if I go to the website here, they very proudly mention the fact that Kentucky Owl was founded by Charles Mortimer Dietman, in 1879, operating until Prohibition became law in 1916. At this point, the government seized some 250,000 gallons of Kentucky Owl, taking it away for safekeeping. And then the next thing they talk about is one night, the warehouse where the illicit liquor was stored burned to the ground. Oddly, for a building filled with alcohol, the fire lasted only a few hours, leading many to suspect the entire Kentucky Owl stock had been whisked away by organized crime to fuel their booming speakeasies. All right, so up in smoke. Then the owl is reborn. 100 years later, the great-great-grandson of Mr. Dietman, his name is Dixon, revived the family business and set about blending a bourbon worthy of the Kentucky Owl name. 6 years of rigorous research and experimentation led to the first new whiskey to carry the Kentucky Owl name, and since 2017, a series of unique batches have been produced. All right, so what do we have here? Basically, we have the fact that Dixon released in 2014 some of his first whiskeys. The thing that made it over to Germany was their Kentucky Owl confiscated. Now, for me, the whiskeys were always priced between $100 and $200, which is like, ouch. Just not what I'm looking for. And when the Stoli Group purchased the company back in 2017, they announced a $150 million Kentucky Owl Bourbon Park, which is still in the planning stages. All right, so now Dixon left the company. The person who took over his position is the former Four Roses Chief Operating Officer and Kentucky Bourbon Hall of Famer John Rhea, and he is now the master blender. So Kentucky Owl does not have its own distillery. They are absolutely 100% dependent on contract distilling or buying barrels. Luckily, Dixon actually 4.5 years ago, I think 5 years now I can say, set up a contract with Bardstown Bourbon Company to distill rye and bourbon. And so they have stock. And that stock is now coming online, and it's getting very, very interesting, to say the least. All right, what am I going to compare this to? I'm going to compare it to Michter's. Why Michter's Bourbon? Well, Michter's Bourbon, this has 45.7%, and this costs 50 euros over here. So we're talking about a 60 euro whiskey, a 50 euro whiskey, 45.7%. And I'm going to compare it to an Eagle Rare. Now, over here in Germany, this bottle is available basically in every online shop that sells whiskey, and it costs under 40 euros. So I know it's unfair. I know it's not right. I know that it's just one of those things of the world and the global economy and globalization, which just doesn't make sense. All right. I mentioned recently this was a Prime Day Amazon product for 34 euros. Just unbelievable what stock is still left over here. All right, so 40 euro whiskey, 50 euro whiskey, and 60 euro whiskey, all at and around 45%. 10 years straight. So the mixtures was, at least the bottles we have are in Germany, still are produced by basically Brown-Forman. They don't talk about it, but think about all the different sour mash and the unblended and so on. You will figure out very, very quickly, and Fred Minnick also confirmed it. Mixtures, if it says bottled by Mixtures Distillery in Louisville, Kentucky, it was made someplace else. It has to say distilled by. All right, so 60 euros, 50 euros, 40 euros, all 45%. So now the question of the day is, why should I buy inferior whiskey at a higher price? Now, if you can really answer that question with a great answer, I'm willing to go buy the real bottle. Now, I bought a sample from a friend of mine. He actually bought the bottle, did a bottle share. I usually do it first. He was first, so I just bought something from him. We actually swapped samples and so on. So I got 5 samples from him. He got 25 from me, and then we were able just to balance that out. Now, this is a very, very interesting whiskey, but the question really remains, okay, 4, 5.5 years, 8.5 years, what percentage of 8.5 year bourbon is in here? 1, 10, 25? I don't know. All right, on the nose, it's young. I've had Superbar whiskeys for 10 euros that smell almost identical to this. It's sappy, it's green. There's some there's acetone, a little bit of fingernail polish remover. There is some nice berries. There's a little bit of a nutty moment. There's some grass going on here, some caramel. But it's just, for me and my nose at this moment, it's not inviting, and I really would have asked the question, why did I lay down 60 euros for this bottle? Now, the Michters, in comparison, this is a much sweeter bourbon. I get brown sugar. I get leather. I get pecan pie. I get the nice oak spiciness going on here. This is a very, very good whiskey for that price point. Well done, ladies and gentlemen. I like the rye better. I like the unblended better from Michters, but good solid stuff for that price. And now moving down the ladder, 60, 50, 40 euros. Oh, I do love me some Eagle Rare 10-year-old. That's some very, very, very nice stuff here. I get a lot of that wood. I get a little bit of that herbalness going on here. Caramel, leather, good stuff. Now, if I'm going to read the Breaking Bourbon tasting notes, on the nose it says here for the Wiseman Bourbon, since September 2021 on the market at least. Caramel, grass, roasted peanuts, don't get that. Gentle rye spice, light curry. What in all the world is curry doing in my bourbon? And overall soft and airy. Kind of have the feeling they're looking for something. They're trying to say something in between there. All right, it just smells sappy, young green. Not worthy. I think Dixon would actually have never, ever put that into a bottle and sold it with his name, with a Kentucky Owl brand on it. Personal opinion, all right? I think he would have refused it. He says, no, we're going for the upper super premium. We're not trying to hit that midpoint. It's not lower shelf. It's actually midpoint, which is affordable for many people. Many people would go, okay, I'm willing to shell out somewhere between $40 and let's say $80 for a bottle. 60, no problem. We can do this. All right, got a nice bottle design. I like the way it's actually done there. The label is interesting, but the product, Cheers. there's an alcohol edge going on here. It's amazing that there's 4-year-old wheat and high rye, that there's a 5-year-old, 5.5-year-old, and an 8.5-year-old. Usually, what I would do with the 5 and 8-year-old is I would try to mix it to actually in the mid palate. It gives it some nice body. I'm not sure I'm getting it. There is a okay finish after that alcohol burn is gone. It does have a somewhat longer lasting finish, which I like. But the first initial moment is quite, the word I'm thinking of is cheap. It tastes cheap. It tastes like something that I would pick up at a very, very lower end budget bourbon, and it just doesn't have the depth, the quality, the flavor profile of a $60 bourbon. Second, especially in the nose, the second and the last taste. Grain forward, little bit of that, I'm going to call acetone, ethanol, alcohol moment towards the end. There is some rye moments going on here. So for me, in my personal opinion, this is, and I'm sorry to say it, a C- whiskey. All right. A, why haven't you bought it? B, buy it. C, you can buy it if you want to. D, you don't need it. F, why was that stuff even made? Value for money, $60. This is a D. This is not something I would recommend going out and buying. Now, if I try the mixtures in comparison, cheers. So much better. No alcohol burn, no youthfulness, no green sappiness. There's that pecan, oak, leather goodness going on there. Very, very nice. And if I just go over immediately to the Eagle Rare, let's see if I have the exact same epiphany I had with my German video. What really surprised me was the mouthfeel. This whiskey it just overpowers everything that was there before, luckily. It actually fills out the entire cavity of my mouth and gives a wonderful oaky goodness without getting too many tannins going on there. There is the leather, there is the oak, there is the gentle spice of the rye going on here. This is a well-balanced, beautiful, beautiful whiskey. And at the price point I'm getting over here in Germany, it's a no-brainer. If you could find it in America for $40 or less, buy it. If as I can find it over here in Germany for $40 or less, I'm buying it. Bottle for bottle for bottle for case. This is good, good, good. All right. My question of the day is, you're going out and you're going to look for a whiskey around 90 proof, 45% ABV. And what is your expected price point? Is it going to be $10 plus minus 5? Is it going to be $20 plus minus 5? Is it going to be $30 plus minus 5? Is it going to be $40 plus minus 5? Is it going to be $50 plus minus 5? $60 plus minus 5? 70? 80? 90? So I don't think you should be paying more than $95 for anything for 45. With 45 ABV, percent ABV or 90 proof, that it does not have a particular age statement, that might actually have more ABV, might be cask strength. For normal bottling of something that's just on the shelves of your local liquor stores, I think you should be anywhere under 50 to 60 euros. I hope it should be under 40 euros. 50, 60. But is that really worth it? Would I gravitate towards the Wiseman once? Yes. Now, I can almost always sell one bottle of whiskey to someone. I can talk them into it, I can convince them, I can show them that it's actually a great deal. The question is, can I get them to buy the bottle again? And that's where the juice shines through. I will buy bottle after bottle after bottle after bottle of the Eagle Rare 10. I will buy another bottle of Michter's bourbon when it's empty, almost there. I will not go out and seek a new bottle of the Wiseman from Kentucky Owl. So the question is, what would you seek out with your money? Thank you very much for watching. Thank you very much for subscribing. Thank you very much for sharing and telling others about what's going on here on my channel and about all the different types of whiskey tastings I do. From bourbon to German to Irish to single malt Scotch to world whiskeys. It's all there usually. All the best. See you soon. WhiskyJason over and out. Bye-bye.